Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Player First podcast. Today we have a special guest, okay? And before we get there, Coach Leo, would you like to, introduce our very special guest here on the show?
Well, actually, how about we have Cole introduce himself because he's going to do a better job, right? So Cole is actually one of my students who I'm currently coaching online, but I'm going to have him do a brief introduction of himself. So if you let us know what club you play at, Cole, and what age you started to play soccer.
So I currently play at Laurel Lions SC in Potomac, or I guess Rockville now. But I'm 16 currently, and I've been playing soccer for my entire life. Like, since I could crawl, it was always there.
Awesome. See, Coach Fernando, he done a better job than me.
I think Cole does a better job. We may have to open up a new spot.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think he's done a better job than you've done in all these episodes so far.
But you made a mistake. So, Cole, which state in the United States are you in?
I am currently in Maryland.
Maryland, there we go.
Maryland.
Very nice. Very nice. And Cole, is that close to, how close are you to DC?
When there's no traffic, it's about 25 minutes, but when there's traffic, it gets up to like hour, 2 hours. It's just,
wow. Okay.
It's a busy area.
So is that considered the suburbs of DC? I'm just trying to get an idea of where you're at.
So I'm currently in Kensington.
Okay.
So like I'm outside of Bethesda, which is north of DC. So we're kind of like in between like the top of the Chesapeake Bay and DC. We're like kind of in betweenish. We're like in that good middle spot of Maryland.
Yeah. I've been to Bethesda before, so
yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, nice. All right. So, today we wanted to bring on our special guest because this is the Player First podcast, right? So we wanted to actually start getting some players involved in what we're doing here, let them share their perspective. And so hopefully this helps not only, other players, other families, other coaches. It sort of helps educate everyone, gives everyone a different perspective. So, Coach, I'll sort of let you kick it off, and then we could just kind of go into a little conversation about Cole's experience here.
Yeah, so I've been coaching Cole for a while now. He's a fantastic student, very committed, very dedicated. But my first question, Cole, for you is like, what's your ambition with soccer? Like, where do you want to go with it?
I want to play at the highest level possible, whether that's D1 in college or the World Cup or the Premier League. It's wherever I can get to is where I want to be. Like, just the highest level that's possible.
Love that.
Except Tottenham Hotspur, right? You don't want to play for them.
Is that not your team, Cole? Who's your team in the Premier League?
My team's Arsenal, Coach Fernando.
That's right.
I trained with Arsenal's students. That was fun. When I went to the Dynasty Cup back in, I want to say my 8th grade year. Mm-hmm. That was really fun. I don't know. You could say I did like Juventus before Ronaldo came. I guess you could say it was a bonus, but if I were to go, still, you could say bandwagon FC Barcelona, but I was watching before Ronaldo came. So
now we're talking. I heard Barcelona. That's all I needed to hear. Awesome. Well, Cole, if you don't mind telling us about that experience you said when you trained with those Arsenal players, since you brought that up, what was that about?
So over the past couple of years, I have been going to play in the Dynasty Cup and in the Gotia Cup, which is in Sweden. Dynasty's in Spain, of course, and Sebastian. So normally around late summer, I fly, and it's a team that is of players that don't know each other. So it's a very different experience when you're playing up against, teams that have been together for their entire lives. it's a very difficult experience. But like training, normally we set up 2 to 3 like group sessions with the Fulham coaches or Arsenal, where we have their like I don't want to their younger coaches who will come in and like let us kind of see what we have to offer for them. But it's more of just like a training session.
Okay.
So it's a whole different experience.
That's awesome.
Nice. Okay, cool. And Coach Leo, you want to continue on the questions, or you want me to?
Yeah. So Cole, what kind of, so you started playing from a really young age?
Yes, sir.
Which means that you've had a lot of coaches throughout your playing career, right? Now, apart from myself, who were your best coaches in the game, and why would you say they were really good coaches towards you, and what makes them a good coach?
So I've played under a lot of coaches, a lot of them not the greatest, but that's because when you're younger, it's more of just and I think especially in America, it's less about development and more about winning. I think that's just a general thing for us. But I'd say about, I want to say 2 years ago, I was playing for Go Premier Soccer under Coach Kevin. Don't know if you've met him or not. Excellent trainer, excellent coach on the field. Like he's good about positioning. More importantly, though, I did love how like he was a trainer. So all summer long, working out, running, getting in shape before before our normal practices, 20 minutes of running. At the end of practice, 30 minutes of running. We do squats. It was all just a good experience to get in better shape. Mm-hmm. The best on-field coach is still probably you, Leo. I actually haven't played under that many coaches.
Right. Let me stop you there. I did not pay him to say that.
I don't know. I don't know what happened before this conversation, but we're gonna have to.
I haven't played under very many coaches. First one was Jesse at MSG. That was for a long time. I want to say 5 years. Then I swapped over to Kevin. And then after that, like I've seen coaches, tryouts, but I've really only played for 4 teams.
Yeah.
MSC, then Go Premier, Achilles, and now Laurel Lions.
Nice.
So we've had a few coaches for like maybe a season, and I don't know that much about them. One of my better coaches was my high school coach. We're not a very big school. We are, in fact, very small. Our student-to-teacher ratio is 7-1. So not a lot of kids go to our school, and we are more of like an arts and music. So sports is just not very big. So, of course, made varsity for the past 3 years. Although due to COVID, wasn't really a season.
Right.
So the best part that I liked about this coach was that his name is Neil, or O'Neil. We call him Coach Neil. But during the games,
great name.
Yeah. But during the games, it was always like we always had strategies because we've been playing in the same conference for the longest time, and last year especially, we had to play against Sandy Springs. Don't know if you've heard of them. It's another small school. Mm-hmm. Where they had one really good kid that scored all of their goals, and my job was to stay on him and make sure he didn't touch the ball.
Nice.
Yeah. He didn't touch the ball once until coach told me to go play offense, and then he scored 3 times. So we'll see how that worked. Other than that, I've had a lot of very defensive coaches. So a lot of coaches that want to play like 11 in the back, like a park the bus kind of game. So a lot of it's just been don't let them score.
Yeah. And cool. So I kind of want to dig a little deeper into, like you said, like in your youth days, maybe you had some other coaches that weren't the best, because you mentioned something about winning over development. So did you kind of like feel that as you were like a younger player, like that some coaches weren't really there to like develop you? They were just kind of there to like win, or like what made you sort of say
I really only started to realize it only a few years ago when I, was going to Spain. But before that, I was playing for coaches where I would get told, I'm a good player, great ball skills, I know good passing, I can shoot, and then I'd play on the bench all game. Didn't really make any sense until it got to the point where I would start to play every game, and our coach would just be like, it's okay, we won. Doesn't matter if you played good or bad, we won. That's it. And it got to a point where when I started playing for the very defensive coaches, we would play whole 90 minutes. We would have no shots, and we would lose 1-0. As a center back, that's very frustrating for me because we don't have any offense, and I'm just kind of stuck there. And if I mess up once, it's game over.
Right. Okay, nice. So you did kind of realize it as you were growing up, like some coaches were just like there to just like win.
Leo helped me realize it. I'm gonna be honest. When I first met him, I don't remember how long ago it was because I have terrible memory. But
sometimes.
But Leo was one of the first real coaches that actually like saw that I was a great player and like wanted to see how far I could go.
Right.
And at that moment, I realized that this is someone that I want to be my coach, to be my friend.
And what made that difference to you? Like, what was the differences that you noticed with someone like Leo as opposed to maybe some of those other coaches?
It was more the fact that it was a coach that actually wanted to play soccer, that wanted to get better students. He wanted not only to win, but to make sure that the player would be the best that they could be. And from going from a public school where I have 400 classmates to a school that I have 30 classmates total, it's a world of difference when somebody actually wants you to succeed rather than just the goal of winning. Right.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Leo, good job, man.
Thank you. So Cole, one question I want to ask you, and obviously we work on this quite a lot, which is the mental side of the game. Now, you being in the club system for quite a while, have you had any coaches previously that have like worked on the psychology of the game with you? Or do you think that's like, how important do you think that is for players? And should coaches focus more on it to help players?
I believe personally that the mental side of soccer, but more importantly, life, is a huge part of it. Because not only when you're playing, if somebody beats you, I see a lot of players that just put their heads down and drop to the floor and start crying. It's more of you get back up and persevere, keep going. So I think it's better to understand, like when you have somebody that, wants you to succeed, like Leo does for me, on how like sleep, your diet, your physical activity can actually help a player get so much better. I mean, who would have thought that putting all of those things into your daily life would have made you a better player?
Yeah, absolutely. So how important do you feel like that's been for your game personally? Like just developing like the mindset and the mentality and all that other stuff off the field. How's that affected like you and your game?
I've gone through most of my life so far in the short that it's been.
You sound old, man.
Oh, my 16 years.
You're not really 16, are you? You're 66.
But you know my dad, Leo.
You can't come on the show, Cole, and not get picked on. Sorry, man.
It's okay. It was more of you keep going. I'd break an ankle, I would still play. Break a wrist, still play. It's always been pushed through until you succeed. Like, you can't just give up. That's just been my mental ideal for the longest time.
Yeah.
And when Leo started introducing me to the mental side of the game, I was already pretty strong in terms of nobody really got to me. I didn't get too mad that much. And it was just a very exciting experience to go through, because not only was I learning about new things, new foods I could eat that were healthy, and what sleep actually meant, and how important being mentally strong is.
Right.
It's just a whole different world.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the present now. So obviously, something we've talked about in previous calls is the struggles of lockdowns to kids, to players. How has that affected you, and what sort of advice would you give to any player, parents watching for their kids?
For lockdown, I don't really know too much about it. Been in here for roughly 9 months. It's a struggle, especially for school when everyone's online. It's more of just try and just stick to what, makes you happy. Try new things at the same time, but school's getting more difficult, because I know a lot of kids want to, even though they don't like school, they don't want to be there. It's a lot easier for them to learn and for them to enjoy school when they have people around them and friends. So I think it's very difficult in a sense, but you have to just get through it. There's no real other way to describe it other than you just have to push through.
Yeah. Has it been difficult for you with school and all that during this time?
Of course.
What types of struggles have you had, I guess, with school?
I'm taking 2 AP classes right now, AP Chemistry and AP Government, so very hard classes, lots of work. And it's very difficult being online when I have so many distractions around me. There's a monitor there. My brother's got 3, a lot of video games. It's a whole different world when you could think, and instead of being in school and I have to do this during class, instead you could just be like, I'm going to go watch mindless videos on YouTube for 4 hours and
right.
not worry about it.
Right. So how have you
adapted?
How have you adapted to doing that at home now?
My sleep schedule has okay. I know Leah's been trying to get me to work on it, but because of school or because of this quarantine, I don't have to wake up until 30 minutes before class, because normally I get up at 7:30 and then I have to drive. But now I get to wake up even earlier. So it's kind of messed with my sleep schedule a little bit. It's just very different in a sense. It's still difficult, but it's a good and a bad thing, this quarantine, because it's easier for, my parents and for life itself. I don't got to wake up every morning, get up, drive to school. Instead, I could just walk down here and jump on my computer and log into my class.
Yeah. For sure.
What about you, Fernando? What feedback have you got from your players with online schooling?
Well, yeah, it's just that it's been a ton of work. They've been getting, a lot more work. And I almost feel like it's that way for just everybody out there, even people that have, just regular jobs. They end up doing more work at home than they do at the office. So I feel like that's the feedback I've gotten from most of my players, that they actually just have a lot of work to do. So it sounds what Cole's going through is, from my perspective, what a lot of players are going through during this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy because like you think the transition is going to be the same, right? All it is instead of being in a classroom, you're just at home on a screen. But there's a lot of differences, and as Cole says, like some kids learn better in person, other kids might learn better online. But
right,
yeah, it is a struggle. I know here in the UK now, we've gone into a lockdown until March, and everything's been done in online. So
right.
it's homeschooling. And I know a lot of parents have been struggling with their kids. But yeah, I think everyone just has to do the best they can. We get through it, and then hopefully back to normal soon.
Yeah,
Whatever normal is.
Yeah, there's a new normal that's coming, right? So who knows what that will look like.
Well, if you said so March, right?
Yeah,
that's 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole year of quarantine just gone.
Yeah, it's true, from March to March, right? So
yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, we're coming up on a year over here in the States with it. But I kind of want to go. So I kind of want to go back into your youth a little bit here, Cole. Not that you're 66. You're still in youth, as Coach Leo said.
we know.
Right. Well,
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. But how has you're obviously you're a competitive player. You have high aspirations, which is amazing. I love that. How have your parents, I guess, or whoever's at home with you, how have they supported you in terms of those dreams and those aspirations that you have, and just throughout your club playing years? Like, what has been that interaction like?
My parents are very supportive. They've, paid for me to go to practice, play in tournaments, go across the country, been to Florida, play for the Disney Cup, been to Spain twice, Sweden once. My parents are very supportive, and I think it's more of they want me to succeed rather than me not to. They just want to see me grow up. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they don't, because they're parents, but
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you feel like, as compared to maybe some of your teammates, that support system is like really important? Like, maybe, I don't know what your experience has been with other teammates that don't have that same level of support at home or something like that?
I've had a few teammates in the past that just, can't get to practice, like this. Either they can't afford to, or they just can't go because of distance. And it's a struggle, because you see good players that have potential who are just unfortunate and can't make it. When we went to go play in Disney, we had several, we had our left back. He went to see his family in, I want to say Germany or Sweden, one or the other. And he got locked in. He couldn't go.
Wow.
So it's a struggle to see people that are like striving to succeed, just unable to reach their goal.
Yeah. And on the line of goals, I know we've discussed it in some of our calls, but how do you set goals, and how do you achieve your goals?
Well, as Coach Leo would say, you have to have a big goal and a bunch of little goals and little steps to get to that big goal. So,
Coach Fernando, we rehearsed this already, man. I'm only joking.
You had a pre-show.
Yeah.
With Cole. Cole, this is what you say. I'm gonna ask this.
Yep.
No, keep going, Cole. This is good stuff. Leo's still messing around.
Always.
I completely just lost track of where we were.
See what you did, Leo?
Yeah. So you were talking about big goals and having smaller goals.
Right.
But wait,
So-
what are the smaller goals called?
Now you're showing
steps, task, I don't
Targets, Cole.
targets.
Come on.
The place that my teammates can never seem to hit the target.
That's a shot. I don't think you want your teammates watching this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit that now.
Yeah.
Nah. My teammates know that if they miss an open net more than like 3 times, I start to yell and go, big white rectangle. Like,
Nice. I like that one. Coach, we should use that as coaches.
it's just a funny line that I just thought of, and I thought it was pretty funny. So I say it, I'll be in center back, at midfield, and I'll be like, hit the white rectangle.
Nice.
Yeah. So sorry, Coach Fernando cut you off. So you were talking about goal setting. So how do you achieve your goals? How do you set your goals?
Right.
I have a few goals, graduating high school, getting straight A's, whatever it may be. It's more the fact that you have to be able to build a way to get to that. So whether if your goal is to get straight A's, it would be to study more, get more sleep at night, eat better, just all these steps to actually get to your goal.
Yeah.
I think that's like having little goals is actually a lot more important than having the big goal, because if you can, it also helps you feel better because you could just knock things out of the way. You could feel like you're a percent to getting there. You're part of the way.
Yeah. Love it.
And so what would your, I guess, if you could like go back in time, what would your advice be to like your younger self, or like your 8-year-old self, as you're playing the game, like looking back, knowing what you know now as a player and what you've learned from Coach Leo and other coaches, like what would you sort of tell yourself, or what would be some advice for yourself, and I guess in a way advice for other maybe younger players that are coming up as well?
The advice I would give myself is, in future years, be more aggressive. Because when I was younger, I'm sure that Leo can attest to this. I was very aggressive as a child in terms of on the field. And as I grow older, it's more of the fact that I want to win the ball, but I would rather somebody not break their leg if I win the ball. So it's.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know where this aggressiveness came from.
Okay, it's been there. And for younger kids, I still see today where a lot of kids are afraid of contact. It's a physical sport. There's not going to be anywhere where people are going to shy away from the ball. It's, if you want it, you got to go get it. That's the main advice that I would give. If you want something, you have to go get it. Like nothing's free in life, unless you're like Bill Gates' son. But
okay, I love that. If you want it, go get it. That's just like a general quote you could use in any moment. I love that. Okay, nice. I like that. Coach Leo?
Another question. So, Cole, you have played in Europe. You've done a lot of tours to Europe and stuff like that.
Yep.
I know here in Europe now, there's a lot of young Americans coming over. The other night, Barcelona had 2, one on the starting lineup, one on the bench. I know Borussia Dortmund have one. We got Pulisic here in London.
Yep.
So what's the difference between American soccer and European soccer?
Ooh, I would like to say that for American soccer, a lot of it is, instead of skill-based and mental, it's a lot of physicality. If you're bigger and taller and faster, you're better. When in reality, if you have 3 big kids against 3 skilled kids, the skilled kids will win.
Right. So the technical, tactical versus the physicality of the U.S. player.
Yeah. I think in Europe, it's been a game of where it's a lot simpler. where instead of, trying to dribble with every single time you get the ball, it's one touch, go, pass, creating triangles, opening up 1-2s, a lot of movement. But when you actually look at like a Premier League game, you see a lot of these guys aren't tired because they're not actually moving that much. They look like they're moving a lot, but in fact, they're getting in a better position so that way they can lay it off and, go on to score, play better defense.
Yeah, love
For
that.
sure. And is there, jumping back to the advice bit, because I like that question, is there any other advice you would give yourself as a kid growing up that relates to off the field, anything off the field? So I know on the field you said, be more aggressive, don't be afraid of contact and stuff like that. Was there anything like off the field that you wish you would have known or changed, or something that you would have known that would have changed how you approach things or how you performed?
So my mom told me this a few months ago, where her father used to tell her, mind over matter is key. I don't mind that you don't matter. It's pretty mean, but when you actually think about it, if somebody's like, being rude or like trying to get in your way, there's somebody that's not important to you. They don't matter. If somebody's being rude in school, just ignore them, go on with life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the biggest advice I would give myself.
Love that.
Nice.
I think,
so last one before we wrap it up, Cole. Now, what are your goals for 2021?
Oh, hopefully get out of quarantine, but
yeah, I think that's everyone's goal this year.
yeah. I don't know what's happening with my gym currently, but to get, bigger, have more muscle, be on a cleaner diet. Mine's already pretty clean. We eat lots of healthy food all the time. That's just how our family, it's how our family has been. But, to actually like get involved in, getting good sleep, not working on assignments till 12 at night. Like, it's a lot of just be less stressed all the time.
Okay.
Doing your assignments before deadline day, Cole.
That would do it.
There you go. Don't procrastinate, right?
That's the one.
I am not the biggest procrastinator I know, but if a teacher gives me an assignment that's due in 4 weeks, I'm not doing it today. It's not happening.
Gotcha.
Oh man.
I hope you show this to your teachers then.
So, I mean that.
Oh, did we lose him?
Uh-oh. Am I here? Wait, did we lose Cole?
I think we lost him.
Oh,
My teachers are, nice.
Oh, there he is.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Okay. Internet. Sorry, over the past, my internet connection is unstable. It's always good to know. Over the past couple of days, we haven't seen the sun. It's just gone. It's just been dark and gloomy, so I don't know if it's weather or if it's just my Wi-Fi not being great. But
That's awesome.
Gotcha.
I think one of my goals is just to be less stressed, to try and like manage my work, because with the whole COVID and going back to school and then everybody getting used to being online and then going into school and then back again, that was really stressful. And I think that I would just not like for that to happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That can be, sounds like it could be very stressful, but you sound like you have a good head on your shoulders about things. So, just keep working at your goals. I think you're in good hands with Mr. Leo over there. So, keep working, keep doing your thing. I think you're definitely capable of reaching your goals if you just, you keep that same energy, that same mindset going.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Cole. Well, I think you were a fantastic guest. Really well done. What would you give him out of 10, Fernando?
Oh, better than your grade. That's all I know. That's all the student has surpassed the teacher. Let's just put it that way.
It happens in sport all the time, doesn't it?
and on podcasts, apparently.
There you go. So, Cole, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, sharing your knowledge, your experience, and making me look like a great coach as well.
No problem.
So yeah, thank you again. And you know, if other kids or parents see this, I'm sure they'll get lots of value from it as well.
All right.
For sure. Thank you for coming on, Cole. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you very much.
All right. So, Fernando, if you want to wrap it up.
Yes, sir. So, you know, this is something that we're trying out here with players and hopefully coaches coming up soon. We want to give players a voice out here. So hopefully you found some value out of what Cole was speaking about. And I think he spoke to a couple things that I thought were important with, you know, seeing and understanding different levels of coaches, and certain coaches may be developing him and focused on his potential and helping him see all these other things that he may be capable of, as opposed to just, you know, on the field winning type of energy. So I think that was really cool. But yeah, I don't know, Coach Lee, I don't know if you have any last thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, it's always good to hear things from a player's perspective, someone that's actually playing, and to understand like their struggles or what they see as valuable.
Right.
Because, you know, as coaches, sometimes we think we know what's best for players, or we think we know it all sometimes, but we don't go through the emotions and the struggles that players actually go through.
Right.
Same as parents. So it was great stuff from Cole. Great insight. Super exciting, and I thought you done really well.
Yeah. You guys had a good pre-show interview, I know.
Yeah, I trained him well.
You prepped him really well.
But awesome. So guys, if you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Like, comment as well. All right. Tell us out of 10 how much you would give Cole.
And if you got something out of this, or if you want to hear from other types of players or coaches or something like that, please share with us, because we're always looking for feedback.
Awesome. All right. Great stuff.
All right, Coach Leo. Take care, man.
Take care.